Apparently Daniel Alfredsson is retiring. Well, as a lifelong Leaf fan, let me just say, he had a hell of a career, didn't he? Leaf fans never had the greatest relationship with Daniel Alfredsson. I mean, he was captain of the Senators. There was his first mistake. A lot of people think Leaf fans hate him because he mimicked the stick throwing into the stands from the Sundin incident. No, young one. It was much before that. It's when he drilled Darcy Tucker from behind and then scored a goal while he was still laying on the ice, which Darcy Tucker talked about today on Twitter, and he said it was water under the bridge and he was the guy who got hit, so I guess I can't be mad anymore. And then there was that prolonged fad where he had hair like Krusty the Clown. Nightmares. But even knowing about the great Battle of Ontario rivalry, I can respect what Daniel Alfredsson has done. I think any hockey fan has to. Well, maybe not Scott Niedermayer fans or fans of the Ducks in general. Anyway, it doesn't matter. He was part of one of the greatest lines in hockey since the 05-06 lockout. Daniel Alfredsson, Jason Spezza, and Danny Heatley. All-star. And long before that, in the 95-96 NHL season, he won Rookie of the Year. The Calder Trophy's funny because its winners are full of guys who had careers like Alfredsson's and guys who, well, they were good that year. He's obviously one of the guys who hung around. This might be controversial, but I think you could easily argue that Daniel Alfredsson was the best player drafted in the 1994 NHL entry draft, despite the fact that he was picked in the 6th round, 133rd overall. His 444 career goals are the most out of anyone from that 94 draft class. Alfredsson also has the most assists out of anyone from the 94 draft with 713. Alfredsson has the most points from the 94 NHL draft with 1,157, and Alfredsson's 1,246 career games played are just 24 games back of the player who played the most out of the 94 draft, who? Captain Canada Ryan Smith. Whoever's executive decision it was to draft Alfredsson that year, if you're an Ottawa Senators fan, you find that person and you buy them a beer. And here's the huge bummer about Alfredsson not coming back for one more season, because I'm obsessed with stuff like this. He's just 13 points behind Bobby Hull for 50th in all-time NHL scoring. And to compare him to a current player, he's less than 30 points behind Jarome Iginla, and he has a better career points per game than Jarome Iginla. You don't have to like admitting it, but you have to admit it. Daniel Alfredsson was a beast, and he spent his entire career with the Ottawa Senators. Wait, Detroit. It's just weird looking through his numbers and seeing that one DET year. So now here's a question I would like to ask you. Given everything I just told you, I'm not saying it's going to be right away, but I am saying, I wonder if Daniel Alfredsson gets in the Hockey Hall of Fame. You go ahead and laugh, and he might not ever get in, but you know what? He's probably in the conversation. He'll be in the hall with the likes of greats like Mike Modano, who spent his entire career with the Dallas Stars. Wait, Detroit again. The Red Wings ruin everything. Daniel Alfredsson, Mike Modano, most of their opponents over the last quarter century. Stupid Detroit. So you know what? This was a little hard for me, I gotta admit. But I'm a hockey fan, and I gotta give credit where credit's due. Plus, I'm not gonna lie, that whole Mark Bell thing kinda took the edge off.